What if the quiet man next door, the one who coached his daughter's softball team and hosted backyard barbecues, was secretly one of the most dangerous people alive? This is the story of Richard Kuklinski, known as the Iceman, a man who lived a double life for decades, loving family man by day, stone-cold contractor by night. And the scariest part? You'd never know until it was far too late. Born in 1935 in Jersey City, Richard Kuklinski grew up in a home defined by violence, fear, and instability. His father was an abusive alcoholic. His mother was a devout Catholic with a strict and often cruel hand. Richard claimed his first act of violence happened before he even turned 14, an act that would later be confirmed during police investigations. He was a large kid, often bullied, and equally quick to retaliate. But it wasn't just anger. According to psychologists, Kuklinski showed early signs of what we'd now call antisocial personality traits: a lack of empathy, a high tolerance for harm, and a calculated coldness even at a young age. In his late teens and 20s, Richard began working with local gangs, doing small jobs, roughing people up, collecting debts, sometimes more. His ability to handle violent tasks with zero emotion eventually caught the attention of organized crime, especially Roy DeMeo, a feared member of the Gambino crime family. DeMeo tested him. Allegedly, Richard was told to take someone out to prove himself. He did, without hesitation. From that moment on, Kuklinski became a trusted freelance contractor for multiple families. He wasn't in the Mafia, but he worked for them. What made Kuklinski different wasn't just his methods, it was his mask. By day, he was a doting father, a loyal husband. He took his kids to Disneyland, hosted neighborhood cookouts, and seemed like any other working-class guy from New Jersey. But by night, he was a ghost. He carried out dozens, maybe hundreds of assignments, each more calculated than the last. He earned the nickname the Iceman because he stored some of his victims in industrial freezers to obscure the time of their demise, confusing investigators. He used everything from firearms to cyanide, and even more creative, brutal techniques, all to stay under the radar. Kuklinski was meticulous. He left no witnesses. He rarely used the same method twice. He also had no typical profile. His victims weren't always targeted. They were sometimes random, people who insulted him, strangers, even someone who cut him off in traffic, according to him. The randomness made him extremely difficult to track. Investigators from New Jersey to New York had cases, but no leads. For decades, Kuklinski remained just a whisper in the world of organized crime enforcement. In the 1980s, law enforcement agencies finally got serious. The ATF, FBI, and local police formed a task force with one mission: take down Richard Kuklinski. Their key move? An undercover agent named Dominic Polifrone, who posed as a fellow fixer looking for poison. Kuklinski took the bait. During a wiretapped conversation, he openly discussed how to carry out an assignment using cyanide. That was all the evidence they needed. In 1986, Richard Kuklinski was arrested. At the time, he was living in a nice home with his wife and kids, who were completely unaware of what he really did for a living. Behind bars, Kuklinski spoke freely. He gave chilling interviews to psychiatrists and reporters, detailing dozens, if not hundreds, of unalivings. He described his crimes with zero remorse. In one interview, he said, "I'm not sorry for anything I've done. I'm sorry I got caught." His calm, almost emotionless demeanor earned him notoriety not just as a criminal, but as a psychological case study. In later years, he claimed to have worked with notorious figures like Roy DeMeo and even hinted at involvement in high-profile unsolved cases, though some of these claims remain unverified. Richard Kuklinski died in 2006 in a prison hospital at the age of 70. Though the exact number of his victims is unknown, estimates range from 100 to over 200. His story remains one of the most terrifying examples of what can hide behind an ordinary face. A man who smiled at the dinner table and then slipped out into the night to do the unthinkable. If you found this story shocking, subscribe for more history deep dives. Let us know in the comments. Do you think Richard Kuklinski was born this way or made?